Good afternoon. I want to welcome everyone to our Mentor-Protege update. Daryl, the floor is yours.
All right, thank you. And thanks for hosting. Thanks for having me. Always appreciate the opportunity to market this program. So on the screen, it actually says October 6th. So everybody here on the line is getting a precursor to in-person meeting at I think Westmoreland County Community College next Friday. And we added some new information to the slides here that you're going to hear for the first time in advance of that meeting. So looking forward to presenting that to you. So here we go. I'm going to give you the background and then, hey, where we're currently at and where we want to go. So this all started with the 2018 disparity study, which was commissioned by former Secretary Leslie Richards. So that study showed that only 0.1% of highway construction or transportation dollars were going towards Black American-owned firms, and that the recommendation in that report said for PennDOT to create a mentor-protege program. So I jumped up and down and I took the lead. I wanted to be part of that, working with our Beer Week opportunity, and got to know Wade and Chiron and all the folks at ProRank here. So it was an awesome opportunity. So that disparity study deemed the term underutilized. So Black American-owned business is the underutilized, based upon availability, group of business owners in Pennsylvania. So we've started frequently using the word underutilized, and we'll get into that a little bit more here. So it's both design and construction. So we're not talking services or necessarily service suppliers. We'll get into that with pre-qual, but the initial program here is based upon consultant design and then doing construction. All right, so we asked each district office to go out with 2 design projects each, so that would total of 22. So we've awarded 20 agreements already using the Mentor-Protege program. So I'm sort of marketing some successes here. Also, we didn't have ProRank Academy at the start. We're sort of developing this as we go. We now have a robust ProRank online academy. I'm sure it's the best in the state, and we're going to continue to make enhancements to it. There's one additional ECMS agreement from the original set of projects we asked our districts to go out with that's in process. And I have 2 more to follow. We've also held industry forums. So they started with what was called Pass the PennDOT, just to express that PennDOT's commitment to diversity. Those forums had contractors and consultants in and sort of did 101 training for Bureau of Equal Opportunity, civil rights type stuff, on the job training, certification. And we're taking that to the next step. We actually did a forum, a workshop, a speed dating event in June in our District 6 office. 50 people attended that. And we actually did the hand holding and had DBEs present, say, hey, I want to get in the business of doing X, Y, Z. And we had prime contractors get in the present and say, I need DBEs that could do X, Y, and Z. And we sort of did that speed and dating event. So that's what we're going to try to replicate next Friday at October 6th, Westmoreland County Community College. So if you haven't signed up, please sign up for that event if you live out in the western part of the state. All right, so this is pretty huge and exciting. So 17 times out of those 19 projects that we went out with, an underutilized firm was chosen by the prime consultant. So you have on the screen here who was what underutilized firm was used each time. Most of those projects that went out the door, we didn't dictate to the districts what type of projects to do. They mostly end up using small bridge design projects for the Mentor-Protege project. You see we're going to grow that our program here on later, some slides that are coming up. Other DBEs that were used as the protege, they're on the screen there as well. So if you're an underutilized firm, you could continue to be the protege and be on multiple agreements. If you're non-underutilized, meaning you're DBE trying to get work for the first time, our policy is you get 1 job, and then again, I'll provide you additional opportunities later in the slides here. So again, underutilized, you get multiple projects. If you're non-underutilized, just regular DBE, you could get Protege once. All right, so I often speak in front of prime contractors or consultants, so say consultants for this slide, and they say, hey, there's not enough underutilized firms out there. So I have a team of consultants that are supporting me now and have them run the data. So look on the screen there, you got plenty of underutilized firms out there to choose from that could help you do your design. I want to thank all the mentors to date that have won projects that brought the underutilized firms on to their team. So thank you for all those consultants that are on the screen there participating. All right, so that was the background. Now, where are we at today? So there is another disparity study going on that myself and the Bureau of Opportunity are leading. So it's 2023 disparity study. It's still the previous 5 years of data. So I don't anticipate that the data is going to show that brings the Black American-owned firms out of the underutilized category, because our projects are literally just starting now. So unfortunately, it's going to take the next 5 year permit, or not permit, but 5 year period until we start seeing underutilized firms show up with positive results in the actual disparity study. So with that disparity study, there will be public forums. We're going to ask DBEs, or they're going to ask DBEs, the vendors, BBC, and they're going to ask for your barriers. And we want to continue to knock down barriers and figure out ideas on why are DBEs signing up or registered? Why did you get a NAICS code, but maybe why didn't you go forward with the next step as far as getting an ECMS overhead rate, and then maybe you had an ECMS overhead rate or a pre-qualification and you dropped it. So we want to mine that data and reach out to you to figure out how we could grow our pool of DBEs and keep everybody pre-qualified and ready. So we wanted, as we've been working on this, sort of studying what other states do, and then we had COVID, so it took us from like 2019 to last year to develop research and develop a program. So the program has been underway for a year now. We still wanted to sit back and focus. All right, let's do a refocus. Where do we want to head in next? So had a visioning session with ACEC. They're the consultant lobbying group, and then APC, that's the construction lobbying group. And this is all key. You got to have buy-in from the industry to make the program successful. And they've been with us from the start, but we just wanted to refocus here where we want to head in the future. So on the consultant side, it's let's continually provide additional features to ProRank Academy to make that more robust, more online features, more automated, keep on improving that. And also on the consultant side, it's, hey, look, let's not limit ourselves to small bridge projects. Let's go bigger. Let's go construction inspection. Let's go bridge inspection. Let's go flagging. I think I have some more slides on that here moving forward. Continue to eliminate barriers. Later in the presentation, I'm going to focus on construction, and we've got a Mythbusters on pre-qual. I mean, there should not be a reason for contractors to help the DBEs and bring them on and participate in this program. All right, so we're going to work on quick strike, short term, and long term. So going forward, so I want to continue to meet, establish an advisory board here, continue to seek new ideas. And there you have it. I mentioned what's good. Let's do bridge inspection. Let's do construction inspection. We also have an SBE set aside program. Each district is to advertise on the consultant side an SBE project. That means a DBE or an SBE needs to be the prime vendor consultant for that contract. So looking forward to seeing the results of that program. All right, so I mentioned this. Let's continue to mine data. Why are firms becoming certified, but then not getting work and everything in between? Let's mine that data and get better and try to get everybody some work here. Commercial use function. Let's look into that on it's still deterring contractors on the construction side from participating. So you are, on the construction side, you're allowed to share equipment and services as part of this program. So let's do some marketing and maybe some YouTube videos on what's allowed as compared to maybe what's not allowed. So we need to get better to understand what does commercial use function do. We mentioned the ProRank Academy. Wade and Chiron and everybody on the line here, they've already plugged away and mostly done it. A lot of the upgrades that they made to the ProRank Academy, making it better, or even more modernizing it. So, an example: hey, we didn't build ECMS overnight on the at PennDOT. That we continually every year building additional modules in the ECMS. So we anticipate the same with the use of ProRank Academy. All right, so we need to, I have a team of consultants surrounded with me along with participants from our district office. We need to monitor the projects that are underway right now. So it's going to be like 22 projects. We need to reach out to everybody, make sure that they're going well. ProRank has developed an automated survey system to email the participants of those and measure the success, and then also measure how you graduate or not. So that's underway. We'll continue to market that program. We also have 2 executive orders that the governor's office recently released. So you got OJT to Mentor-Protege and apprenticeship programs. Apprenticeship program developing. Exactly what does that mean? It actually requires us to have a Mentor-Protege program, which we're a year into it already. So that's pretty cool. We're ahead of the game compared to other agencies with that executive order. All right, so these are additional ideas that are in process. Pretty cool. So let's develop an apprenticeship program. So what's an apprenticeship program? Not exactly an MPP advertised project in ECMS, but let's help the DBE community corner additional markets that aren't there yet or fully established. So railroad flagging is a huge need. North Fork, there's only 2 pre-qualified vendors that could do railroad flagging for North Fork Southern. So let's try to help a couple DBEs get pre-qualified to get into that pool of flaggers, allow them to corner that market. That's going to help a win-win for North Fork Southern because they utilize in-house flagging. This will supplement their in-house program, but then also allow DBEs to sort of supplement the peaks and bounds whenever PennDOT has a lot of projects that we're pushing through and we need contractor consultant support to help do the flagging. This will end up growing that industry. And then we'll have MBS and construction and inspection apprenticeships. So what that means is I have DBEs, we're listening. So DBEs are calling me and say, hey, I have staff that want to be construction inspectors or bridge inspectors, but they're not qualified to take the training. So we're going to develop a pre-apprenticeship program, pay for the training, make sure that they're qualified and eligible to get into those programs. And then last one, just regular flagging in general. Let's try to grow that industry and allow DBEs to a lot more opportunities for DBEs there, and that's going to help prime contractors meet their DBE goal. So let's continue to grow the flagging industry. All right, longer term vision of ours, DBE prompt payments. So we have control over ECMS. Can we issue automatic email alerts, or like on the construction side, contractors are submitting invoices weekly as opposed to the consultant side, they're submitting monthly. Can we ask the consultant side can you invoice us more monthly, and can we force changes in this ECMS system to get our DBEs paid faster? So that's a bucket list item that we just get started on. So looking forward to making improvements there. Strategic planning and partnership development. So I got another slide on that. That's just, wouldn't it be cool if we didn't have to go out with Mentor-Protege projects in the future, and prime consultants and contractors just automatically they bring on underutilized firms without any incentive or requirements in the ad to do so. So that's what that means. And we heard one in District 8 that happened already, where it was a non-Mentor-Protege program. They're proposing to do Mentor-Protege as part of it, even though it wasn't required as part of the project. So cool stuff here. All right. Develop additional apprenticeship programs. So, hey, we'll take your ideas. We heard railroad flagging. We heard MBIS. We heard construction inspection. If you know more, send them to us. Somewhere where there's NAICS codes for civil rights compliance. where can we grow that? Thinking DBE compliance officer for construction projects. So it's already required or will be required for all design build projects as part of the new federal regulation that's going to be sort of deployed here by the end of the year. So we have a draft specification going out by clearance transmittal. And hey, so maybe what does that mean? So maybe each contract will have to have somebody that's a DBE officer, and that person will have to maybe work with the community to hire OJTs on their projects or help do recruiting for PennDOT and make sure DBEs are getting paid on time and transparency. Show where's all the money going to on the contract, have a website for every project. So that's something we would like to grow, and that would help grow the DBE community there. But let's have a DBE be the DBE officer on these contracts moving forward. All right, prime and underutilized firms, long-term relationships. I touched on that. I got another slide on that here. So it's all about the full cycle here and developing partnerships. And again, developing the long-term business relationships between the underutilized firms, DBs, and the prime consultants and contractors. And again, it's also let's figure out what's preventing what are the barriers, what's stopping them from becoming willing, ready, and able. Is it overhead rate problems? Why aren't they bidding, et cetera? So we need to continue to monitor that and get better at that. All right, so now nobody has seen this yet. I want to test it out with everybody on the line. We've held, I'd say each time myself, Pro Rank, and Bureau Opportunity gets up and presents at our district offices, it always comes down to construction pre-qualification. And they say that's the reason we can't participate. Then we end up getting Matt Weaver on the line, and then Matt calms them down every time. So I called Matt Weaver. Matt Weaver's unavailable to come with me on October 6th, next Friday. So I said, Matt, I want you to teach me what you know. And so we rehearsed all the questions, and I'm going to go ahead and go over them here. So we anticipate the questions that the prime contractors are asking, and reasons why they haven't participated in the Mentor-Protege program in the past or have barriers with pre-qualification. So here we go. Provisional pre-qualification can be and usually is submitted after the bid starts. So prime contractors will keep on getting up in front of the room and say, I'm afraid my bids are going to be rejected because you're not going to approve my pre-qualification as part of the bid. So Matt Weaver's saying, hey, provisional pre-qual could be done after the bid. It doesn't have to be a part of the bid submission. So you're not worried. He's never rejected anybody for provisional pre-qual, and that's what gets into the second bullet here. What would you get your bid rejected for? If you didn't provide you got 5 days after your bid is due, if you're a prime contractor, to provide your DBE participation. So yeah, if you don't provide your DBE participation in that 5 days, then you get bid. That's different from construction pre-qual and provisional pre-qualification. Also, let's just say if PennDOT rejects the bids, if the prime proposed a lower DBE goal, so typically on the construction side, it's like 8 point something. So let's just say a contractor came in and said, oh, I'm only providing committing 6%. And maybe they would adjust it with a good faith effort, and the good faith effort didn't come through. So that's just an example of how you could get your bid rejected. But again, it's not due to, hey, I want to bring DBE company on and I'm going to help them get pre-qualification code for whatever, silk fence or putting up a retaining wall. So he's never rejected anybody for that. So we want to make sure we put that myth buster out there. It's just a myth. All right, we've heard this one. We heard this one in June in our meeting in District 6. Primes don't have funds in the contract to add DB participation after award. So they put in their bids, they're locked to a fixed amount in their low bid, and we're asking them to participate in Mentor-Protege, and they're saying, oh, hey, Daryl, where's that money coming from to add the additional DB to the program? Well, that's what the $25,000 is for, that we are allowed to force account. Whenever we first started the program, it was supposed to be part of the bid. Then we said, hey, we learned we don't have to do that. We could force account a mentor-protege special provision into any contract, any type of contract. That immediately allows a $25,000 line item for the contractor and the DBE to charge against, to have that prime contractor help the DBE get an additional work pre-qualification code. And then if we get a barrier in the future that says $25,000 ain't enough, if contractor community Bob Latham says, let's go to 35, we'll go to 35. So I'll continue to knock down those barriers as people bring them. All right, one thing we do need, this is tough that we did learn, you do need one work code in order to qualify for a provisional pre-qualification. So that is the biggest barrier that's remaining that we haven't knocked down. So we do allow, so if you're a service supplier, you don't have an initial ECMS work code because that's called pre-qual exempt. But if a contractor wants to participate, take our $25,000 and bring that DBE on and bring them on to one of your other, surely the contractors have other non-PennDOT projects. Take that $25, work $25,000, work with them on a non-PennDOT project, and submit that paperwork back into Matt Weaver and get them the code. So it's nobody has tried that. We've offered it, haven't got to the finish line, but that option is out there. That's the most extreme case. Again, if you're a service supplier, you don't have your first code. That's just an option on how to get your first code. All right, and I'll restate it there. Provisional pre-qual could occur on any project. Doesn't have to be it could be any construction project. All right, and hey, Matt Weaver is an extremely helpful and dedicated PennDOT employee. He's committed to reviewing your paperwork timely. He always just says, hey, just call him on the phone. We've got his number on there. We asked what's a reason why a provisional pre-qual wouldn't get approved right away. It would just be failure to submit the paperwork and or failure to receive the referrals from the prime company who helped did the mentoring. So there's two reasons. So there we go. That's fresh off the press.
Absolutely. Rudy, do we have any questions on that? That was excellent, Daryl. Thank you very much. Can everybody see my screen all right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, what I'd like to do is introduce the new PennDOT Mentor-Protege Supportive Services Center, which is really taking on its own shape and form. It was really a program inside of the DBE program, and it really still is because it's for certified PAUCP DBEs. But we have a brand new website launching pretty soon that will be an independent website. You'll start to see independent branding and marketing, and that's so folks can separate the two programs in their mind, and there'll be a lot less confusion with it. So what we're going to do is start off by touching on the background, as we always do. Like Daryl mentioned, the Mentor-Protege program came as a recommendation from the 2018 PennDOT disparity study. All right. And what a disparity study does is look at the availability and what they call the capacity of different groups of women or minorities for a given industry or for a given market. All right. And the availability is like how many of them are out there in that given market. The capacity is like how much business can they do? How much are they doing per year? And based on that availability and that capacity, there is a number that is calculated called a disparity index. And this is what every single disparity study is seeking to do in some shape, form, or fashion. All right. So what we're seeing here on slide 7.2 is actually from the disparity study in 2018. And where the red line is on this chart here, it represents parity. So this red line at 100 basically represents, if you, based on your availability, based on the amount of firms there are, and based on the capacity of that availability, they're making what they should be making, right? Based on, you know, all things being equal. They say if there was absent discrimination in a perfect world, you would be making 100 cents on the dollar, or you would be at 100. if everything was good, right? And what you're seeing is all of the individual ethnicities broken out that make up the DBE program. This disparity study found that all ethnicities except for one are actually above parity. All right, they're actually getting more than 100 cents on the dollar, right? Some are getting 111, 182, some are getting a whole extra dollar on the dollar, but there's only one group that's not getting 100 cents on the dollar, and they're not even getting 90 cents on the dollar, and that happens to be African Americans. And this is based on their availability and their capacity. So this is apples to apples when we're looking at everybody else, based on their availability and capacity. So one of the findings to remedy this, all right, was that PennDOT should do a mentor-protege program. What we want to do is continue to make sure that everybody is aware of this resource, specifically underutilized DBEs, because the term underutilized derives from any firm that is under 100, right? On this line is considered to be underutilized. And there's only one group that's under 100 that's underutilized per the 2018 disparity study, all right? And that happens to be African Americans. Now, if 2023 finds something different, if there's another group added, well, then they too would be underutilized, right? But right now, the only group that the study found to be underutilized was African Americans. So when we use that term underutilized, that's what we mean. We mean right now per the 2018 disparity study, we mean African American owned PAUCP certified DBEs. So it's important to keep that in mind when you're thinking about the objective of this overall program. The program itself exists to help those firms, although it's open to all DBEs. All right. So if you're a non-underutilized DBE, just keep that in mind. The reason why you even have the opportunity to participate in a program like this is because of the disparity that another group had to go through, and your group might not have actually even encountered that disparity. So for that reason, we'll get into some nuances of this program that are designed specifically to try to provide extra utilization to that underutilized group. So let's get into some key concepts. That's one of the first key concepts we want to talk about before starting, but let's talk about some more key concepts first for proteges. Proteges, for them to participate in this program, they must be certified already with the Pennsylvania Unified Certification Program as a DBE, all right? So you can go to PAUCP, you put in DBE, Pennsylvania Unified Certification Program, PAUCP website, into Google, it'll come right up, all right? You can search your company and you can see if your name is on that list, or if your company is on that list. And if you are, then you've overcome the first hurdle to be eligible for this program. Now, currently, the program is for highway-specific trades and skill sets, both on the professional service side and on the construction side. So if you're doing support things that really aren't directly applicable to heavy highway construction or professional services, this probably is not the best program for you. The DBE Supportive Service Center can still help you, all right? If you just complete your survey at ana.penndbe.com, then you can get signed up there, and the DBE Supportive Service Center can still help you, all right? But the Mentor-Protege program is for those folks that are really looking to work on heavy highway specific professional services agreements and or heavy highway construction bids, right? And actually performing, there's not yet any mentorship for things like supplying or anything like that, all right? So let's keep that in mind. And then the other thing to keep in mind is that to be tier 3, to be actually paired with a mentor as a contractor, you have to at least have one work code, all right? You have to at least have one work code, unless we have that unique situation that we talked about where you don't have the work code yet. The contractor is willing to take you on and have you work on some other non-PennDOT projects, right? And help you get that work code and maybe submit, a force account under another current PennDOT job that they have, so, and we can talk you through that, and we can talk them through that if you're interested in that. So let's keep that in mind if we're a protege. I know it might be a lot to digest now, but we'll continue to flush that out for you. For mentors, something that you want to keep in mind is your mentoring experience does not begin until you're actually awarded a PennDOT project, all right? So your experience as a mentor is based on you winning a project. If you're on the professional service side, that already has the MPP provision, all right? If you're on the construction side, then you can add the MPP provision to any project that you've already won via Force account. All right. And that's a great alternative when you think about it to help proteges get up to speed on certain things and maybe not have the same scrutiny of the commercial useful function, that you would have without something like a cited mentor protege program. And the way that we work around that is by you developing a work plan, a written work plan that spells out exactly what you're going to be sharing or doing with that protege to help them develop that skill set to get the additional work code. And that's things that definitely would come under scrutiny if you were not involved in the mentor protege program. So this is another great incentive for contractors to participate in this program tomorrow on their projects with some current DBEs, all right? One of the final things that we want to mention is that the mentor protege program participation can actually count towards your DBE goal participation as well. Every single protege is also a DBE, but it does not necessarily have to replace your DBE participation. You can have your protege perform their protege scope and you can pay them and you can bring on a whole nother DBE to help you get, your DBE attainment. So your whole DBE attainment does not have to happen through your protege, but it can. All right. If you did want to bring on another DBE that wasn't necessarily your protege, but they were helping you get your DBE attainment, you can do that. All right. So we don't want you to think that you have to use the protege for the full DBE commitment. It would be nice, but you don't actually have to do that. All right. Understanding primary versus secondary contacts. We're going to walk through the sign-up process for ProRank Academy, which is really easy. And in a nutshell, all you do to sign up is go to mppsurvey.com and complete your respective questionnaire, either the protege questionnaire for proteges, the mentor questionnaire for mentors, and everything happens after that, right? You'll get the welcome email, you'll be put in the right rooms, and you'll be good to go. You'll get instructions on what to do next. Now, there's been a little bit of confusion around how additional members of a company also get access to the Mentor Protege program, right? Because the experience on ProRank Academy is profile-based. It follows individual users that are tied to companies, but companies have been, having issues trying to figure out, how do I get the other members of the company into the Mentor Protege program? Are the other members of my company in the Mentor Protege program? And, so we're going to go over that today and we're going to clarify that. And really what we do is we have a secondary sign-up process, both for the protege and the mentor. And that, in a nutshell, is that they do not have to fill out the survey, right? Only the primary contact for your organization is the one that does the survey at mppsurvey.com. The protege secondary contact is going to submit a multi-account request to their primary contact for their company. And the mentor secondary user is just going to edit their ProRank Academy profile and answer 2 questions, and that's going to take care of them. All right, so we're going to walk through that in these next couple slides here. And what we're seeing here is just a getting started slide. When you first come to mppsurvey.com, this is the screen that you land on. We'll give you a bigger version down here. And we'll also make this presentation available to everybody on the call. All right. And this presentation does have the links to these different places. So you can follow along with us, or you can wait to get the presentation and you can just follow along on the screen. But when you go to mppsurvey.com, you're going to land on a page that looks like this, and you're going to land on the protege questionnaire. All right. And what the protege does is just answer the questions. There's about 6 pages here. All right. When they answer the first page, they're going to go down to the bottom and just hit next and fill out the pages. If you have to stop for any reason, all you're going to do is click on the save and continue later button. All right. You're going to click on that save and continue later button, and that's going to bring you to a page that looks like this. And you can either copy the link to your progress and it'll be good for 30 days, or you can put your email address in there and it will email you the link to your progress, and it'll be good for 30 days. All right. But either way, once you're done doing that, you're going to click the submit button on the final page. This next button will be a submit button. And then you're going to get an email that will give you your access to ProRank Academy, right? If you don't already have a user in ProRank Academy. If you already have a user in ProRank Academy, it's going to put that user into all of the correct rooms for the Mentor-Protege program. And it's going to tell you what cohort and what tier you're in and give you the instructions to get started. All right. So it's really important, if you're already in ProRank Academy, to remember to use the same email that you're in ProRank Academy with to do the survey at mppsurvey.com. And that way it'll know to connect your account with, the account on ProRank Academy. Everything will connect from there. All right. So moral of the story, mppsurvey.com, do the survey. You're signed up as a protege. Just make sure you're a certified PAUCP DBE first. Mentor MPP primary contact sign-up process. They too can go to mppsurvey.com. And what they can do is, I'm just going to slide over here a little bit so you can see it. They click on the main banner, right underneath it where it says protege questionnaire. Please click here to complete the mentor questionnaire, right? And this is a close-up of it right here. They click on the click here link. They're going to be redirected to this mentor survey. And they just complete it, and the exact same thing happens for them. They'll get a welcome email. Their user for ProRank Academy will already be created. They'll get instructions on how to access the rooms and how to access the tier 3 room for their respective cohort and what to do next. All right. And that is the primary sign-up process for the mentor. All you're doing is going and completing that survey. Now, you only have to do that once for your organization. Once as a mentor. For a protege, we're going to ask you to do that questionnaire pretty much every time you complete an MPP project successfully, because that's going to mark like a completion. But what we're going to do is, you're not going to have to fill out all of the questions over again, just the information that might have changed, because we want to see the change, we want to see the progress, and we want to make sure that we can help you out. All right. Next, we're going to talk about the secondary company user sign-up process for the protege. All right. So like we said, sometimes the proteges have other company members. Maybe you're the owner of the company and you're not the most technically savvy person, and you have somebody else that you want to manage the mentor protege experience for your company or on behalf of you personally, or even manage your ProRank Academy activity. We have a feature on ProRank Academy called the multi-account feature. All right. And this will actually take you to a short video that will show you how it works. And this link will take you to your multi-account feature on ProRank Academy once you're signed up, right? So if you just click on it, it'll take you right to this page right here. And this is in your profile tab. What you're seeing is my home profile. Everybody has one of these. And you have the first 3 options are profile, social sign-on, and multi-account. And we're right here on the 3rd option up here. This is the zoom in of it. This is multi-account. So the multi-account user function is down here from your primary profile. If you go down here about to the middle of your page, you'll see these are the main navigational options to navigate your profile. And the 3rd one says multi-account. If you just click on that, all right, it's going to bring you to a tab that looks like this. All right. And you'll see right now we're on the multi-account requests. And you'll see up top, this is the first person that I'm connected to, Peter Exampleton. I can switch account. You see where it's approved. Where it's approved, that's where whoever you send the request, it'll be pending till they click on the approved, right? Or I can delete that connection, right? And if we wanted to add a new person, if I wanted to add somebody new, I would click on this add multi-account sub-tab here. And you'll see here on the next slide down, this is what this screen looks like. And there's two parts to this. There's adding an existing user on ProRank Academy, or there's sending access to a brand new user that's not yet on ProRank Academy, right? So to add somebody that's already on ProRank Academy, it's saying add existing username here. And that's what you would do is, I'm going to scroll back up here to my profile. And here's, remember my profile, everybody has their own profile on ProRank Academy. If you click on anybody's profile image, then it'll take you to their profile screen. And if you go down to their main profile section and you look down here where it says enter your PRA username below, this is my username. This is where every username can be found right here. All right. So my username here is ProRank_KR. Right. So whatever username of the person that you'd like to, be your multi-account, you could copy it from their profile from right here on the screen. And then you would just paste it in this field right here. You would click on I consent and you would click on submit. And then they would get a notice in their email. And when they checked it, it would bring them to this section of their profile. Right. And it would say pending here, and they would just click on the approved, and it would go from pending to approved, and you would then be connected with that person. All right. Now, if the person is not on ProRank Academy, this is what the bottom section is for below. And you would put in their username, maybe first initial, last name. You would put in their email address. You would put in their first name and their last name. You would select their profile type, probably a diverse business employee. Will be the profile type, and then you can click on I consent, right, and click on submit. Now, this feature is not just for the MPP. This feature is for anybody in ProRank Academy that wants to give access to their profile to other users in their organization or just other users in general. Something to be very careful of, though, is that first of all, just giving somebody else access to your account in general, they can see everything that you've uploaded personally into your profile. They have access to all of your rooms, all of the information that you have in the system. So keep that in mind. Also, if you allow multiple people access, or people allow other people access to their profile that have access to your profile, then people could actually daisy chain into your profile, right? Because if Peter Exampleton gave Sarah Butler access to his profile, Sarah could log in and switch to Peter, and then she could come to Peter's multi-account, and then Sarah could switch to me, right? So just be aware of that. But the way ProRank Academy is designed, it's designed so that all of the information on here is really for the public. It's forward facing to promote your company, to help you be successful, right? To help those that are trying to help you more effectively, right? And we're only showing the things that hopefully put your best foot forward and that would promote you and make you more successful in business. All right. So the multi-account function, and again, we have the video up here at the top of this section. All right. And we have the link directly to it. The multi-account function is the way that a protege allows secondary users access to the rooms, because once that secondary user has access, they can switch to the other profile, and then they can navigate the MPP rooms. And we'll show you that a little bit later. All right. But proteges only have one profile active in the MPP at a time. And that's so the mentors don't get confused. Could you imagine if there was like 5 different profiles and the mentors were trying to figure out, the firms to partner with? It would make it much harder and much more confusing. Are there any questions about that? Do we have any questions in the chat, Rudy, or does anybody have their hand raised? Mary raised her hand again. I think she's really
okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Gotcha.
Yes. Hi.
Hi,
Hi.
Mel.
I'm home with COVID. You guys, thank you very much. I am a DBE certified person, and please forgive me, but I'm often getting hit notices for jobs that they referred. They need DBEs. Now, my question is, please, it might sound silly, but am I going in as a mentor or as a protege? I'm a little confused. This is my first time in the meeting.
This is what this is for. You would be going in as a protege.
Okay.
All right.
Now,
You're going in as a protege.
as a protege, I would be connected, and I'm under the one under what did you say, the unutilized? I am an unutilized, definitely. I can't seem to get any business at all. I
Right.
get notices about DBEs needed, but I never get called back for.
Let me ask you this.
something.
Do you happen to be the business owner of the company?
Yes, I am.
Do you happen to
Yes.
be African American?
Yes, I am.
Well, then you absolutely would fall under underutilized, because again, that term is more about the ethnicity group than how often you've actually been utilized on PennDOT contract. It's overall the group of African American DBEs for PennDOT is underutilized. So you would fall into that. You'd be an underutilized protege. So you would go to mppsurvey.com and you would just do the survey. That's the first step.
Okay.
I don't
All
want
right.
to overwhelm you, but great question.
Thank you. Thank you.
No problem at all. But that was a good question. So what we're going to talk about now is the secondary sign-up process for the mentor. All right. It's a little bit less complicated because mentors can have multiple visible company members in the mentor-protege program, because the proteges aren't technically picking the mentors, right? So it really doesn't matter if an engineering or a prime contractor has 5 different people in the room from their company. If anything, it might be helpful because it could incentivize a protege to want to contact that company. And what a secondary company user is, once again, is you have the first person that will be the primary point of contact that went to mppsurvey.com and did the survey. These secondary users don't have to do the survey, right? But they will have access to the rooms. And all you have to do as a mentor is from your home profile, like we said, everybody, when you log in, this is the first screen that you go to. This is the first screen that you land on, when you log into ProRank Academy. About halfway down, underneath of that list of menu items where multi-account was, all the way to the right, you'll see an edit button, all right? And this is a close-up of it, all right? You'll see the 3 dots and then an edit button. Click on that edit button, and it's going to bring up a host of questions. And that's actually how you have a complete profile, is by answering those questions. Some of them will already be answered from your questionnaire, but you want to go through and answer all that you can. But the key ones for secondary mentors are these 2 right here. These are the 2 that are going to put you in the MPP as a secondary mentor for your organization. Are you interested in participating in PennDOT's Mentor-Protege program? Yes. All right. Please choose how you would like to participate. We want to participate as a mentor. That's it. You're done. All right. Once you do that, you scroll to the bottom and click Save Changes. All right. And you'll be put into the correct rooms as a mentor, and you'll know, and we'll show you how you'll know a little bit later in this presentation. There's a new tab on your profile called the MPP, and whoever is enrolled in the MPP as a mentor or as a primary protege, they're going to have that MPP tab. Secondary proteges will not have the MPP tab because technically your profile is not enrolled. You're switching to a different profile and viewing from that profile, but your profile is not enrolled. So before we go deeper into navigating the MPP on ProRank Academy, we want to help you better understand the concept of cohorts, tiers, and rooms, because this is how we make sense of the different participants in the program, the different information that those participants need, the different statuses that those participants have, and being ready to do business with PennDOT, right? And how we try to make sure that underutilized firms are getting utilization in this program, all right? We make sense of all of that through cohorts, tiers, and rooms, all right? So the first concept to understand are cohorts. PennDOT pretty much separates all information on ECMS and doing business with PennDOT into 2 houses: professional services and construction. So it's contractors and consultants are the two sides of ECMS, or the Engineering Construction Management System. And that's the place where all PennDOT heavy highway bids and opportunities are let and advertised. All right. So there's one step that's the same for everybody else. And then after that, it's like two different worlds. So for that reason, we separate the Mentor-Protege program into two separate cohorts. All right. And you can only participate in one cohort at a time. All right. Either the consultant cohort or the construction, the contractor cohort. And we automatically put you in one of those cohorts based on the information your primary contact provides on their initial survey. Okay, so if you want to switch cohorts after you successfully complete a project, or you want to stop in one cohort and switch to another, you can contact us. But this is the concept of cohorts. You're in one cohort or the other. The other thing this does is help consultants and professional service providers that are looking for participants for best value advertisements on ECMS find those firms that are ready to work for that work, versus heavy highway contractors that are looking for pre-qualified DBEs with work codes that are putting in low bid construction bids, helping them find the firms that are, ready to work for that work, right? So again, it's completely different in nature, and that's why we separate the cohorts. All right, so that's the concept of cohorts. The next major concept to understand are tiers. The Mentor-Protege program separates the experience for proteges into 4 primary tiers. And those tiers are based on the protege's experience doing business with PennDOT. So tier 1 is for firms that are not yet business partner registered, all right, with PennDOT on the PennDOT ECMS, or Engineering and Construction Management System. All right. So that's basically requesting a username and a password. You're going to get an administrative business partner ID number. Takes about 10 to 14 days. It's a 2-step process, but we have a number of trainings and resources to walk you through that process. Everybody has to do it. Contractors, consultants, everybody. But if you haven't done that step, you will not be doing business with PennDOT, as a contractor or consultant on a heavy highway construction project. That's the first step. So we can't partner people that haven't done that step with mentors that are ready to work and ready to go tomorrow, right? So you are invisible to mentors when you're in this tier. This is tier 1, all right, the first tier. Once you complete that step, now you're going to go into tier 2. Tier 2 is basically qualification, but this is where everything splits. Tier 2 for contractors is the process of pre-qualification. Tier 2 is the process of getting your first work code, right? If you're business partner registered, you're in tier 2, and you'll be in tier 2 until you have your first work code in the Mentor-Protege program. All right, I want to be clear with that, because that was a point of confusion for a lot of people. So until you have at least one work code, you will be in tier 2 for the Mentor-Protege program. And what we talked about with Daryl was some unique ways to try to help you get your first work code, to hopefully get you out of tier 2 and into tier 3 as a contractor. All right, but that is the step for contractors. For consultants to get out of tier 2, they have to submit what's called an active annual qualifications package. They will remain in tier 2 until they have what's called an active qualifications package submitted, and then they're moved into tier 3. Tier 3 is considered ready to work firms. All right. So for the Mentor-Protege program, if you're a contractor, then you're going to have at least one pre-qualified work code. And if you're a consultant, then you're going to have an active annual qualifications package. Again, what we do in tier 2 is help you from the consultant or the contractor standpoint, hopefully overcome those barriers and get yourself into tier 3. Tier 3 is green because that's the tier where you're actually ready to be partnered with a mentor. All right, this is very important. Until you're in tier 3, you're not going to be visible to what we call a project-based mentor. All right. You're not going to be visible for somebody that's trying to find proteges to put on a project. You're not going to be visible to them until you're in tier 3. What we're doing now is working to get some mentors to help you out in tier 2, right? That are non-project based. And you'll start to see more of those in the future. But right now, this tier 3 represents proteges that are ready to work, right? That are ready to work in both cohorts, as well as the mentors that are ready to use them. This is the only tier room that mentors can actually see, right? Because it's not really in your best interest for us to market you or show mentors the fact that you're not business partner registered or you're not qualified, right? So we show you to the mentor when you're ready to work, all right, which is tier 3. And then tier 4 is going to be once you're actually on an MPP project, all right? When you are awarded an MPP project, you are actually then tier 4, all right? Until you complete that project. And this is for non-underutilized firms. Non-underutilized firms will be tier 4 until they complete the project or until they complete that scope of the project. Then they can move back into tier 3 and be visible. Underutilized firms actually are in both tiers at the same time. They're never removed from tier 3. And what that does is it allows them to work on multiple MPP projects simultaneously. We had a hand up again?
Yes, I just wanted to find out, like he said, the tier 2 for the protege, like when he said not registered, I am a registered, I apply and I am registered with PennDOT for flagging. Is that what he's talking about when he mean like registered?
Yeah, if you're registered on ECMS, business partner registered and pre-qualified exempt as a flagger.
Yes.
If you've completed those 2 steps, then yes, you're business partner registered and you will be considered tier 2. But to be tier 3, that pre-qualification exemption will need to actually get you qualified in a work code, right?
Okay.
That's what we would for construction. We would try to find a work code, some work that you've done, some projects that you've executed, and tie them to a PennDOT work code, right? And try to get you into the program that way so that you're performing pre-qualified work if that's what you're trying to do for PennDOT. We talked about cohorts and tiers. We talked about the process for consultants and contractors being different. So each cohort has its own set of tiers, all right? And there's actually rooms for each cohort and for each tier. And rooms are how we organize the relevant information, the relevant people, the relevant discussions, and keep it all together. Because you don't want tier 1 people, you don't need to give them the same information that tier 2 people need. And tier 2 people really shouldn't be seen in the same rooms as the tier 3 people, and they need different information. And then when you're actually on a project, you need a little bit different information. There's different visibility rules. So people are constantly moving. Contractor qualifications expire every 2 years, every other year, and consultant qualifications expire annually. So you could be in tier 2, do your qualifications package, go to tier 3, your qualifications expire, you're back in tier 2, then you do it again, you're back in tier 3, then you get on a project and you're on tier 4, right? So people are continuously moving back and forth. And in order to make sense of that and to make sure everybody has the correct information, we put information, people, discussions into their own rooms. So what we're going to start to show you is a hierarchy of the room logic for the Mentor-Protege program on ProRank Academy. And what you're seeing here is the nesting of the rooms, all right? And anybody that shows any interest in the Mentor-Protege program on ProRank Academy will be put into the large PennDOT MPP room, all right? This does not mean that you're in the program, but it does mean that you can get more program information, right? And maybe you can see who's in, who's interested, who else is interested, and, who else is kind of in the program, but you're not in the program yet. Once your primary contact does the MPP questionnaire, then they're going to be put into either the consultant MPP or the contractor room, right? And depending on what their role is and what their status with PennDOT is, they're going to also be put into some of these level 3 rooms here below. All right. So this is how we keep the experience quarantined, and we keep the information and the users and the documents quarantined to, who needs them when they need them. All right. Consultants, if you are a consultant that is, say, underutilized, you're ready to work, then you would see the PennDOT MPP room, you would see the consultant MPP room, you would have the tier 3 room, and you would have the underutilized consultant pool room. And you would have to be in these rooms already to see them. That's what hidden means. Rooms have 3 primary statuses. They can be public, they can be private, or they can be hidden on ProRank Academy. A public room, you don't have to ask permission. You can see it. You can join yourself without any questions. A private room, you can see it, but you have to request access to it. A hidden room, you can't see it unless you're a member of it. So you'll see the nesting. The top level room is private. The way that you request access is by showing interest in the MPP somehow, and you're put in the room. Or you could actually just request access to join it, right? But that does not put you in the program. Somebody from your organization completing the survey put you in the program, and then that person is put into a series of hidden rooms, right? So this is why the multi-account user, right, for the protege, that's why they have to share that multi-account so that they can see these other hidden rooms from the other person's profile. All right. Hopefully that makes sense to you. And this is an example. Like if we said that if we were tier 3, say we were a tier 3 underutilized contractor or a tier 3 underutilized consultant, we would have access to these 4 rooms: the underutilized contractor pool or underutilized consultant pool, right? That's these rooms right here. All right. We would have our respective tier 3 contractor or tier 3 consultant room, right? That's these rooms right here. Right. These are the same rooms that mentors would have access to, by the way, right? Mentors actually have access to these exact same rooms, right? Based on their cohort, right? We'd have access to our big cohort room, consultant mentor protege room, right? Or contractors mentors protege room. And this is organizing information at that level, information applicable to all MPP consultants. All right. Information applicable to all MPP contractors would be in this room. Discussions, right? Documents, right? But when it starts to go into tiers, this is information that's applicable to you. Are you business partner registered yet? If so, we don't need to give you this information. We need to put you in tier 2 and give you the tier 2 information. If you're already qualified, you don't need that information. You need the tier 3 information. All right. So that's what we're doing here with the rooms. Understanding that will help your experience in the Mentor-Protege program tremendously. What we're going to do in this navigational section, we're going to talk about a lot of new updates that were made. If you're new to the MPP, they're not updates to you. They're just how the MPP works, right? But if you're not new to the MPP, then you're going to see a lot of new updates and features. First of which, being the MPP has its own main menu option. We've done some updates of the main menu in ProRank Academy in general. All right. So now the big difference is that these main options are not clickable links to pages anymore. You have to hover them, and then all of the children or sub pages are underneath of them. All right. So profile are like your primary profile options. and your help pages. Educate are your educational resources. Network are your networking pages and your networking resources. Get work is the information you need to help you get on jobs and projects. And the MPP tab is everything we're about to cover now. Here's a drill down on that. We have the resources page. We have a direct link to the Protege MPP sign up. We have a direct link to the Mentor sign up. We already covered those. All right. We have MPP room reports. We have a new My Projects page, which takes you to the My Projects tab that we talked about. All right. And we're going to get into that. And then we have a brand new MPP admin projects table for MPP admins that we'll talk about briefly. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through these different page options briefly. We're going to skip over the surveys, right? We already covered those. And we're going to talk a little bit about how to navigate these different pages and how they're streamlining your MPP experience. All right. So we're going to start off with the first link, the MPP resource page. All right. And again, when you hover this MPP option, it'll be the first link underneath. It's the MPP resource page. You'll land on a page that looks like this. When we give you this document, this is a video, all right, on the MPP resource page and how to navigate it. And this is a link directly to the page. All right. But when you go to the page, you'll see a banner at the top that looks like that. That's not really doing anything. But right underneath of that banner, you'll see a video on how to sign up for the Mentor-Protege program. All right. This page, MPP resource page, is accessible to everybody on ProRank Academy, whether you're already in the Mentor-Protege program or not. All right. Not all of these pages are accessible to everybody. All right. But the top one is. All right. So whether you've already signed up or not, this page can help you get signed up. It can help you learn more about how to get signed up. You can download the presentation here. This is also where we'll be adding the section where we'll be adding PennDOT's most recent update. All right. But we'll also have a playlist of all of Daryl's updates that you can access via link underneath of this video or this section. All right. Also underneath of Daryl's videos, you'll see a helpful documents section on this page. And you'll see key documents like the MPP program guide that was recently just updated to give you a language that Daryl just told you for construction contractor force accounts, right? To add the MPP provision. All right. We have the MOU templates, MOU work plans for contractors and consultants. We have the invoicing logs. But these documents are critical for your understanding of the Mentor-Protege program. Underneath of that section, we've been conducting bi-weekly MPP calls for pretty much all of 2023 and fiscal year 2024 in October. They're going to go to weekly, and you can find the links to them here. There'll be a playlist of them here. And what we like to do is we like to put links to direct questions, to timestamps where particular questions were asked. And you can actually go through the timestamps, click on the links, and get answers to specific questions. And if you scroll all the way down the page, then you'll find more videos with timestamps. We'll be updating those. The most current videos are on the top of the page. The older videos will be towards the bottom of the page. All right. And this is the resource page. Again, it's available to everybody. What we're going to do now is talk about the MPP room reports. All right. This is a way that we consolidate all of the members in a room and show them to you quickly based on those initial rooms that you have access to, right? Because those rooms are hidden, and based on your experience, you could have your own mix of these rooms. So when you go to MPP room reports, based on the rooms that you have access to, it's going to be a quick way to navigate those rooms. And we're going to take a look at that right now. So when you hover on the MPP tab and you click on MPP room reports, you're going to scroll down to the little box on the screen, and you're going to click inside of the box. When you click inside of that box, you'll see a drop down with all of the MPP rooms that you have access to. These are real-time snapshots of these rooms. All right. So if you ever want to know how many mentors are in a room, right, and you have access to that room, and you have access to this page, then you know. If you ever want to know how many proteges are there, how many underutilized are there, then you have real-time access to these rooms. All you do is click in the drop down, you identify the group that you want to view, and then you would click the search button. All right. So in this example, we put tier 3 MPP consultant room and we clicked on search. And then what we saw in 27 here is that the report was generated. It looks like this once you do it. All right. And it's showing us, it'll show us everybody in this room. All right. And if we scroll all the way to the bottom, you know, we'll have a count of all of the total members in the room. We see 141 when we did this, all right? Let's scroll back up to the top. There's an export button going all the way across, all right? If you click on export, you can export this particular report. But this is a real-time dynamic report that could change in an hour. Somebody else joins, it's gonna change. You see, we have a brand new tier 3 consultant, right? That wasn't on Daryl's list, because when he ran the report, they weren't there, right? But now they're there. Another thing that I want to point out is you have a visit group button here, all right? You also have a select member role filter here. So you can just filter out, there's 3 primary roles that you could play in the MPP. You can be a potential protege, you can be a potential mentor, or you can be a program admin, all right? And this is how you can filter out the participants of this room by their respective role, all right? Also, something that you can do is you can click on any of these headers and you can sort this entire room information, right, by either first name, last name, company name, cohort, tier, underutilized status, member role. And you also have a link to everybody's profile here, all right, that you're seeing on the report. So if you want to learn more about them, you can click on their view profile and go straight to their profile. After you sort the headers, you can then export, and that's how your report would look. After you filtered out the role, you could then export, and that's how your report would look. So just want to make sure you understand that. What we did here is we went down here and we filtered out on the top image, we filtered out proteges, right? And we're just seeing proteges here. Or if we were a potential protege, we would probably filter out potential mentors. And then we'll see a list of potential mentors here, right? And then after you do that, you would probably want to sort that list by company name. And then you could see how many are there for each company and who's there. Then you can view their profiles, right? You scroll down to the bottom, you see now we have 91 members here that are potential mentors for this cohort. All right. So this is how you use these reports. Then you could export. If you wanted to export, remember, if you come back tomorrow, this list could be different. It could be longer. Also, what you can do is you can visit groups fast just by going to the room report and clicking on the visit group button. All right. So it's a quick way to get to groups. Any questions? No questions?
Okay. So the question I have, as I understand a typical mentor protege, if it is different on this one, protege can have only one mentor, but the mentor can have more than one protege, and how many?
Yes, the protege, well, yes and no, all right? If you're an underutilized company, you can have multiple mentors, right? But the mentorship is project-based, right? And the protege mentor experience is not person to person, it's company to company.
Okay.
Maybe that helps too, all right? So a non-underutilized protege can only have one mentor at a time.
Okay.
But they don't just only have to have one, all right?
Okay, one at a time. Okay, that's
One
good.
at a time, right? An underutilized company can have multiple mentors simultaneously, as they can be on multiple MPP projects simultaneously. Does that make sense?
Yes, and when we have a one mentor, if the project finishes or is not working out, we can switch to another one. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Yeah. After your project, after your scope of work is done with that one mentor, then you can go back into the tier 3 pool and be partnered with another mentor. Absolutely.
All right, very good.
Great question. We're going to talk about the My MPP projects option here, but on your profile, the My MPP projects will take you the same place as you clicking this MPP profile tab, all right? And what that's going to do, if you're a mentor, they automatically have a list of all of the ready to work proteges for their cohort. All right. All of the tier 3 proteges that are ready to go are going to be listed on their My MPP tab as soon as they click on the tab, and they can just scroll down and they can see them all. All right. And the underutilized firms will be on top, and the latest ones to sign up will be on top. Right. And also what they can do is they can, with one click of a button, they can view the company's next codes. They can view the company's mapper profile. We'll talk about that. That's a combination of your ECMS and your PAUCP profile in one spot. And they can view their ProRank Academy full profile here. All right. So this is a very, very powerful page option and menu tab. And I just want to make sure I drive home the fact that this My MPP projects, if you're a mentor, it's going to bring you to a list of proteges. If you're a protege and you click on it, it's going to bring you over to the project side, and it's not going to show you much unless you're actually on a project. If you're on an MPP project, you'll be able to manage your project from that portion of the website. All right. But this is key for mentors. It's actually key for you as a protege to understand this and to see how this works, because you might have to explain this to a mentor or to your mentor. So the way that the mentor actually initiates the teaming request now is completely paperless. All right. We used to have emails and an email MOU process, but now what we're doing is we're having the mentor come to their My MPP project tab, and all the mentor does to initiate the teaming request now is come back to this page. They type in the ECMS project number in the top part. They're going to put the name of the project down here. And then what they're going to do is just select one or many proteges, as many as they want to team with. And then they're going to click on the submit button, and the proteges are going to get the teaming request. And they're either going to be able to accept it or deny it, right? Virtually. Once they accept it, then it's basically going to be added to the project admin table, and you're going to be pending notice of award. And PennDOT's going to go into the project admin table, or a project admin is going to go into the project admin table. They're going to select the team that was awarded, and then you'll be noticed through the system. And we have a full example of that back and forth on this document. There's a video called The New Teaming Process, but it's super simple. You'll actually be prompted through that back and forth to submit an MOU. The mentor will be provided with a virtual MOU to sign. Then once they sign it, it'll be sent to you to sign. Then the mentor will then be sent their virtual templates for their respective work plans for their cohort. And they can put the work plan together with you, or you can get the work plan done. And then they upload that work plan, and then PennDOT approves that work plan through the system. And then that's when the surveys are going to begin, because when they upload the work plan, they're going to identify the anticipated start date for each protege's scope of work. On that day, both the mentor and the protege are going to get a questionnaire. Hey, have you started the protege scope of work for ECMS project number? This. Yes or no? If you say no, it'll say thank you. We'll ask you again in 30 days. All right. If you say yes, it'll go and ask you a brief questionnaire about the experience. And then it'll start to ask you those experience questionnaires every 90 days. All right. And the final question on an experience will be, have you completed your scope of work, or has the protege completed their scope of work? And if you say yes, then you'll be sent to the exit survey. All right. So that's pretty much the life cycle. And we want to make sure you understand that. And this is the video that will take you through every step of what I just explained. All right. Right here on this document that you will have access to. The final tab here is the MPP admin tab. MPP project admins will have access to an MPP project table that consolidates all of the information that we're gathering for each project, because trying to keep track of all of that information, it gets a little burdensome when it really could be automated, kept on one table. We have all of the information for the MPP on one table, and all of the information for a successful MPP teaming is on one record. And you'll see going from left to right. I don't want to drill in too much to protect the names of the innocent here, but pretty much going from left to right, you see, you can link to the mentor, the protege. You could click and view their MOU. You could click and view their work plan. This is also where the MOUs or the work plans are approved. An MOU that's virtual is faster, but you could upload a PDF MOU. The difference is a virtual work plan won't need to be approved because we'll know that it's signed via the system. If you upload a document MOU, it'll be a little bit slower because a human's going to have to make sure that it's just not a blank piece of paper that you uploaded. So use the virtual process whenever possible. All of the information will live on the record, as well as all of the surveys that are completed. You'll see here in this column, there's a link to surveys. So whenever the mentor or the protege completes a survey, the link to it will be here, and a PennDOT or a program admin can view that survey. And there's also going to be like a project timeline. Let me just slide over a little bit. Every project is going to have its own timeline of every single thing that happened on it, from the initial teaming. And the administrator, all right, not the mentors, program admins will be able to come to this table and click on this view timeline and see every single activity or step that happened with this particular project. So it's really going to be a robust way to monitor the MPP project for the admins. Okay. Let's get into some tips for finding mentors. So the first tip that I'm going to say is make sure that you're tier 3 for your respective cohort. Understand what tier 3 means and make sure you're tier 3 before you start soliciting mentors for the PennDOT Mentor-Protege program. The best way to verify if you're tier 3 and to find those mentors and to know that you're tier 3 with certainty is to go back to that MPP tab, to go back down to the room reports, the MPP room reports, and to click in that field and to see if you see your tier 3 room. If you see the tier 3 room there, then you have to be tier 3 because the rooms are hidden and you wouldn't see it if you didn't have access to it. All right. So from the room report, if you go back into that tier 3 room and then you filter that tier 3 room by potential mentors, right? That's what I would recommend. All right. I would recommend filtering the tier 3 room by potential mentors and starting to get a flavor of who's who, of who you want to target, of who has the skill sets that you would like to acquire, right? Which companies, and you could do that by viewing their profile. And then once you have an idea of who's who, you want to click on this visit group button and you want to visit the actual tier 3 room, because once you do that, it's going to redirect you to the members section of the tier 3 room. And really quick, when you're navigating rooms, each group room, remember we talked about each tier has its own group room. Each cohort has its own group room. ProRank Academy in general organizes everything in the group rooms. There's over 400 rooms on ProRank Academy. So once you understand how to navigate one room or this room, you understand how to navigate them all. What we're showing you is the members tab that we landed on. And you want to understand from this room report, you click on visit group and it's automatically going to send you to the members tab. You can click on any of these other tabs to see the other stuff that I talked about. But the top section of the members tab is going to be program admins. Remember, we told you there's 3 room roles: the admin, the mentor, and the protege. The admins are on top. These are all folks that might be able to help you out with the program, help you navigate the program. If you are an admin, you don't see yourself in the tier 3 consultant room. I see some folks that should probably be here that aren't, but we have some dual role folks too, but just let us know. We'll put you there. But you want to scroll down until you see the second section. It'll be titled Potential Mentors. All right. And I see both icons here for everybody because I'm an admin. But what you're going to see is one icon at the bottom underneath everybody's head. It's going to be a plus button. All right. And if you want to add a connection request, or if you want to connect with a mentor, you just click on the plus button. And once they accept your connection request, it'll change from a waiting icon like this to a check mark icon like this. And then you'll see the envelope on the other side. And you can just click on the envelope and you can initiate a message thread with that individual. All right. And the cool thing is when you send them a message, it becomes a thread. It'll be formal at first, but if you keep communicating back and forth, it gets less and less formal, right? This is also why we encourage everybody to put a profile image of their face and have everybody from your company use their face and put their face up there, because you don't think it means anything now, but when you get into that networking event, they're going to recognize you there. And it's going to be a much warmer meeting and reception. All right. So that's another best practice. Put your face up there. So that's just an idea for connecting with mentors. Again, we have a video for tips for pairing with mentors here. And we're going to give you this full document, all right, that we're doing the presentation from today. This document itself has a link to a lot of the helpful resources that were on the resource page, that were in the document section and the resources. And here's some guidance on provisional qualification here, provisional pre-qualification right here, a document from PennDOT that will explain provisional pre-qualification for construction. Do we have any questions before we close out? You know, Daryl again did an awesome job with his presentation. I really hope that this demystified the Mentor-Protege program for you. We hope that this answered a lot of your questions and made things clear for you. And we hope that you appreciate the time that we took to listen to the feedback that you've been giving us. And we implemented that feedback to make sure that you have a successful, smooth experience in this program. And we want to make this a national model, like we set out to do from the very beginning. And that starts with us listening to the feedback that you give us and being willing to be flexible and making this a dialogue and a share of information so that we can continuously refine this program and make it what it needs to be for your success. So with that, if there's any questions in the chat, please let us know. If you want to open up your mic and ask questions, we're here if you have questions.
Okay. I just want to tell you guys, thank you very much. I greatly appreciate this. I've been in business for going on 7 years, and I've had all of the certifications for my company, MBE, DBE, ACDEB. I've taken tremendous courses, OSHA 30 and everything, and I can't seem to get ahead for my company. But it's programs like this. And I think I met you, weren't you up at the Naval Base?
Yes.
And you said you need to get into a mentor program. And then I kept looking for the information, and it came up one time and I signed up. And this seemed, now I understand, and this seems excellent. So I really look forward. It's given me hope. What you did today is giving me hope, because I was like, what else can I do? You know, I'm like, what? And it's hard being a minority business owner, and you know, the insurance is going up all the time. Everything goes against you. But this is something that seems to be favorable, and I'm looking forward to going to that tier 3. I think I'm already in a 2 because I'm registered with PennDOT as a register, you know, I'm registered with PennDOT. So I'm looking forward to going to the 3. And I didn't understand, but you really clarified things, and thank you. And I'm looking forward to Monday. I got COVID now, but Monday I will be in my office. I'm giving you guys a call because I'm going on that MPP line, and I'm going to go to the 3. And this is giving me hope. So I want to thank you. But you won't be. This isn't the last time. I saw you then at the Naval Base, and I see you today. So God is good. I'm coming forward. So
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mary.
It's really rough. It's really I'm barely keeping my business afloat because, you know, the jobs. I'll get notices. Do you know I actually got a notice from a company, and it said on there they forgot to take that part off. All you have to do is reach out to a DBE. You don't have to hire them. Just reach out and you've done your part. But this program seemed like it eliminates that from happening to us. So thank you. Thanks. You were excellent. Thanks a lot. God bless.
Thank you, Mary. That really makes it worthwhile. And it means a lot to us because we're not just administering this program for PennDOT, but we're a small African-American owned company as well. We're a certified DBE just like you are. And we have to go out and win every contract we have just like you do. So the things that we're telling you aren't just, it's a little bit different. It's actually, it's from practice, right? So we take it very serious. And we look forward to talking to you on Monday and getting you on the right track with the MPP.
Thank you.
Absolutely.